to talk about something really uncomfortable, and that's the truth that's hiding inside McKinsey's 2025 AI report. Almost every company is spending money on AI right now, and almost none of them are seeing meaningful impact on the bottom line. In McKinsey's latest data, nearly all companies say they're investing in AI, but only about 1% consider themselves truly AI mature. So if you've been quietly thinking, we're playing with AI, but I'm not sure if it's actually moving revenue or profit, you are not alone. Welcome to Marketing Trends Now. I'm Katie Brinkley, a social media strategist who's been in the game for over 2 decades. And I'm a business owner just like you. If you want to stay ahead of the algorithm without burning out, I've got you. I know you've got a business to run, so I'm going to keep it short, smart, and worth your time. Let's dive into today's episode. Today, I want to walk you through the big findings from McKinsey's 2025 AI report. And I want to translate them into plain English for you as a CEO, founder, or senior leader. I'm not going to do all the academic, no hype. Just here's what the data says. Here's why most companies are stuck. And here's what the 1% are doing differently. All right, let's get started. McKinsey is looking at 2 big pieces of the AI story. Number 1, how organizations are actually using AI and generative AI to run the business. And number 2, how AI is changing the workplace and where leaders are the bottleneck. If you haven't read the report yet, again, it is called the McKinsey 2025 AI report. Go ahead, check it out after today's episode if you want to read all the jargon and everything, but I'm hoping to break it down super simple for you today. So on the adoption side, the headline is pretty simple. Roughly 3 out of 4 organizations now say that they use AI in at least one part of their business. Most of them are using it in multiple functions. So it's typically IT, marketing, sales, service operations, product development, and software engineering. And generative AI in particular has exploded. Around 7 in 10 organizations say that they're regularly using Gen AI in at least one function. So honestly, no one is sitting on the sidelines anymore. AI is not some experimental toy living in the innovation lab. It is everywhere. But here's the catch. When McKinsey asked the harder question, how much of your earnings before interest and taxes can you actually attribute to Gen AI? More than 80% of companies basically answer, not much, yet. Only a small minority say Gen AI accounts for 5% or more of their EBIT. So you've got this weird moment where AI is very mainstream, but the value is still niche. And folks, that is an opportunity for you if you're willing to lead differently. So let's talk about where AI is actually living inside of companies. The most common use should sound very familiar. Marketing and sales. They are using Gen AI to draft copy, segment audiences, personalize outreach, and analyze performance. Product and service teams are using it to brainstorm features, summarize user research, and even simulate customer interactions. Service and operations teams are using it around tickets, knowledge bases, documentation, and engineers are using it to generate and review code. McKinsey also points out on the individual level, more than half of executives say that they personally use Gen AI at work now. So it's not just the interns are playing with ChatGPT anymore. No, leaders themselves are using it in their workflows. So if your organization is still in the we're thinking about AI phase, the benchmark has moved. The median company has already started using it hands-on, especially in functions that touch revenue. But again, adoption alone is not translating into value. The big question here is why? And this is where the report starts getting really interesting. McKinsey looked at 25 different attributes across organizations and asked which ones actually predict real EBIT impact from Gen AI. And the number one factor was not the size of your AI budget. It was not how many tools you've bought. It was not how many pilots you've run. The single biggest driver was whether you have actually redesigned your workflows around AI. So, in the data, only about 1 in 5 companies that use GenAI say that they fundamentally redesigned at least some workflows to integrate it. The rest have basically bolted AI onto existing processes like an accessory. So, think about that for your business. There is a huge difference between sales reps can optionally ask an AI tool to help them write emails versus we redesign the entire lead magnet process so that an AI agent pre-qualifies draft sequences, surfaces buying signals, and your reps are only spending time on the top 20% of opportunities. One is a tool and the other is a new workflow. And the companies who are doing that second version, folks, those are the ones that are showing real quantifiable bottom line results. Who owns this rewiring makes a big difference. McKinsey finds a very strong correlation between financial impact and who actually oversees AI governance. So, in companies that are seeing better EBIT from GenAI, you almost always see one of two things. Number one, the CEO owns AI governance, or the board is directly involved. So, roughly 28% of AI using organizations now say that the CEO is in charge of AI governance, and about 17% say that the board is. So, what does this mean? In larger companies, CEO oversight is especially correlated with higher earnings impact. So, if AI is currently owned by IT or owned by innovation in your organization, that is a red flag. It does not mean that you personally have to write prompts or evaluate models. It does mean that AI is a strategy question, not a tools question. It belongs at your level. Let that sink in. I also want to talk to you about something that I think every leader needs to hear from this report. You're probably underestimating how much your employees are already using AI. In the workplace study, McKinsey surveyed over 3,000 employees and a couple hundred C-suite leaders. Employees are using GenAI for up to 30% of that work. That's huge. Employees are already embedding AI into a third of their workflows in some cases. And a lot of leaders think it's just a side experiment. So if you have a team, get a handle on how much AI your team knows about and is using, and make sure that they're trained effectively and efficiently. And when McKinsey asks employees what they want, the number one answer is not protect my job from AI. It is training. Almost half of the employees in the survey said that formal training was one of the most important enabler for using GenAI effectively, and many said that they're not getting enough support. So the story is not employees are scared of AI and leadership is pushing back on them. The story is that employees are ahead and leadership is not steering the ship fast enough. If you're not giving people guardrails, use cases, trainings, they will still use AI, just in shadow ways that you cannot see or govern, and might not be the most efficient. So I do want to talk about some of the risks here. You might be thinking, yeah, this stuff, AI, it can hallucinate, it can leak data, there are legal risks, and McKinsey in the report absolutely calls that out. Companies are most actively mitigating risks around inaccurate outputs, privacy, cybersecurity, and intellectual property. Larger organizations are more likely to be taking action here, often though a centralized center of excellence for AI risk and data governance. What is not consistent yet is how much humans review the AI outputs. So some organizations say every single AI generated output is reviewed by a person before it goes out the door. Others say they review 20% or less. There's no standard. The point for you is not that there is a right, quote unquote, percentage. The point is that you need a deliberate policy, not a shrug. Where do we require human review? Where are we comfortable with AI acting independently? What data is off limits for AI? Your employees, again, they're already using these tools. Leaving those questions unanswered is the real risk. All right, so let's zoom out, and I want to give you a simple way to think about this report. From the McKinsey 2025 data, we can say a few things pretty confidently. First, AI adoption is no longer a differentiator. The gap is in value capture. Second, the companies that are getting value are not just quote unquote using AI. They are redesigning workflows, and that is the single biggest lever for earnings impact. Third, leadership matters. When AI governance lives at the CEO and the board level with a centralized standard and decentralized innovation, numbers will look better. And fourth, your people are ready. They are probably further along than you are. They want training and clarity more than they want protection. Fifth, almost everyone plans to invest more. Over 90% of companies intend to increase their GenAI spending over the next few years, while only 1% say they are mature. That means there is going to be a lot of money spent on AI with very uneven results. If you can be one of the few leaders who connects the dots between strategy, workflows, governance, and people, you will not need a massive technical advantage to win. You are just going to need operational courage. What will you do with all this information as a CEO or founder? Let me give you 3 questions to take back to your leadership team. Question 1, where are we seeing actual measurable value from AI today? And is it enough to matter? Don't accept that, people like it as an answer. Look for concrete metrics, cost per ticket, revenue per rep, close rates, margin. If you cannot see it, you do not have impact yet. Question 2, which workflows are we willing to redesign around AI in the next 6 to 12 months? Pick a few high-value processes: sales development, onboarding, support, ticket handling, reporting claims, whatever is core to your business. Then ask, if we redesigned all this from scratch using an AI copilot or agent that was part of the team, what would change? That is where the real ROI lives. And number 3, what is the plan for our people? Not in a vague, we'll upskill sort of sense, but specifically, what training are we giving every single manager? What are the rules of the road for AI to use? Which roles do we expect to evolve, and how are we supporting that? Because if the McKinsey report got it right, employees are already using AI far more than most leaders realize. The risk is not that they resist it. The risk is that they outrun you. If you're listening to this and thinking, we're early, we don't have any of this figured out, that's okay. Remember, in the report, in the data, only a tiny sliver of companies describe themselves as truly AI mature. You've not missed the boat, but the window where you can treat AI as someone else's problem, it is closing real fast. Your competitors are not just testing tools, they are starting to rewire how their organizations run. They are moving AI out of the lab and into the operating model. And that right there is the real message from the McKinsey AI report. AI is not going to magically transform your business. You will. The technology is here. The question is whether you are willing to lead the uncomfortable parts, the governance, the workflow redesign, the training, the change. That 1% of AI mature companies is going to get bigger. The only decision that you really have to make right now is whether you want to be a part of that group or if you want to be playing catch up with them 3 years from now. All right. If you found this breakdown helpful and you want more episodes like this, where I take big reports and translate them into actionable strategy for your business, make sure you subscribe so that you do not miss a single episode. Until then, keep your marketing smart, strategic, and always on trend.